Okay, part 2 of the text formatting project. Now you have the text in the document. Now you have to make it look like the text in the markup. So pretty much you have to follow what the markup says. You have to do all the things that it says. It actually doesn't really matter in what order, as long as it's all done. Everything should kind of fall into place, but there's a couple things that you need to do that are not in the markup that I'm going to highlight along the way, and also I will just do it in a sequence that makes sense to me, that would be helpful, just kind of makes a little bit more sense than if you were just doing all the pieces at random. So I like to start at the top of the text and do whatever I need to do to have the flow kind of continue down. All right, so I'm going to go into my type tool, and I see here that this is bold. It says Arial Black 8.5, so I'm going to select what I will want to be that, right? In character level formatting, I will find Arial Black. It's funny, it's Arial Black regular, so it's actually the regular version of Arial Black, but that's fine, that works. And you want 8.5, so actually I can just type in 8.5. I can type into any of these boxes. I don't need to rely on the drop-down options. And you can see that it fits better already, right? The rest of the box is, next thing, Arial regular. Arial. Just want Arial. Arial regular. There we go. And it's 9 points, so it's very important to keep an eye on any kind of inconsistencies. And I also see that the leading is 20. Now, leading is here. That's leading right here, a little up and down arrow, and you just highlight that and put in 20. Now you can see that it's already starting to take up the right amount of space. And the next thing I see is text is justified, last line aligned left, and that option is right here. Right here. Now if I was in paragraph formatting, those options would also be available, but I can also reach them from the paragraph, from the character, the character formatting. Okay, so a couple things are still off though. So I did all this, that's great, but a couple things are still off. So I see that I need a drop cap right here. Okay, back here, drop cap. Drop cap is a paragraph level formatting option. So if I am in the paragraph, I don't have to highlight anything. I just have to be in the paragraph. And when I assign my drop cap, the paragraph is going to exhibit that drop cap. My drop cap options are right here. You can look up drop caps in help files as well. I go 2 lines down and 1 line over. Did that work? That did not quite work. I'm wondering why that did not work. Okay, so and this is actually a great lesson in how to pay attention to little details. All right, so remember I selected this and I put in 20 points for my leading. So that's really, that works great, right? But if I highlight this whole paragraph, I see that my leading option is blank. Right here, it's blank. That means when you see a window like this that's blank, it means that there's 2 different things going on. So it can't display a consistent number because there's 2 different things going on in a paragraph. So I'm checking this out. I see that if I click here, that's 20 points. Click here, 20 points. I'm talking about the leading. But if I click on this line, the leading is not 20 points. It's 10.2 points, actually default leading. So when I highlight the whole paragraph, and I put in the 20 points that should apply to the whole paragraph, my drop cap actually does what it's supposed to do. The other thing I'm sorry, let me back up for a second. So because that letting was inconsistent, the first line was thinking, oh, there's half the space that we wanted to assign to it available for the drop cap, so it wasn't dropping the drop cap as low as we really wanted to in the document that we were trying to match. So then when we fixed the letting, everything kind of fell into place. So you know if something is off, if something is not happening, then you have to find that little, however invisible, detail that you need to find to make it right, to make everything fall into place. Okay, next detail. So everything looks great. This is starting to look like this, but if we are very careful and we check the line breaks, it's you get here, and universal is hyphenated, but universal here is not hyphenated. So here, borders, hyphenated, borders here, not hyphenated. Generally, in working with design documents, you want to avoid that hyphenation unless you really need it for really, really large amounts of text that you're just flowing in automatically. So you can basically select everything, select all the text, Command A, or you can just drag to select. As long as you're in, this is a paragraph function, so as long as you're in all the paragraphs, it'll work. And you want to go to your paragraph formatting, and you see hyphenation up here, you just want to click it off. That means hyphenation will not apply anywhere. Also, while you're here, there's another function. So we are in the text tool control palette. It has a menu. While we're here, you want to make sure that you are in Adobe Single Line Composer rather than Adobe Paragraph Composer. This will apply later, but basically it's how you control how the text runs. Sometimes the Adobe Paragraph Composer is really useful because basically it arranges the tracking in your paragraph for sort of ultimate line breaks that it thinks will work best. And most of the time that's fine, but we're going to try to do it ourselves so we understand it. So you want to go to Adobe Single Line Composer. You can do it now or you can do it later, but since we're highlighting all the text and doing kind of global adjustments to it, I just wanted to mention it now. Okay, Command to be in the black arrow tool, click to deselect. Now that we've done all this, we've addressed all this, plus the hyphenation, everything here looks great. So before we go on, however, I want to show you a very, very important feature of text formatting that you should always be aware of and visibly have on, and this is working with invisibles or hidden characters. So under Type, you can go to Show Hidden Characters, and you can click on Show Hidden Characters, and you will see all of a sudden that you're seeing all the, I don't know if you can see on the screen in the video, but there is a space here and it's marked by a dot. There is a paragraph break here. There is all kinds of formatting marks that you don't see, but if you turn on the invisibles or hidden characters, you do see. So I'm going to turn them off again, and I'll show you a couple things that make this very important. All right. So, for example, if I go here and I want to have this line go to the next line, I can hit return. I just hit the return button. That's actually a paragraph break. I'm doing that. Now, if I hit shift return, on my key commands, it's shift and return. That's a line break. That does not create a new paragraph, but it creates a line break. Visually, there is no difference if you're not looking at hidden characters. If I turn on hidden characters, I can see this is not a paragraph break right here. You can see that this is something else. Undo that. Return, that's a paragraph break. That's shift return, that's a line break. That actually keeps this paragraph intact as one paragraph. We actually want a paragraph break, so I'm going to put a return there. Now, the other thing that you can see here is that there is space return. you see a little dot and then a return. That could throw you off, so you'll need a space there. You wouldn't see that unless you had your hidden characters turned on. Command 0 zooms out to a full page. So we could continue with our markup. Okay, so we did this, we did this. Now, left indent except for headings, 0.75 in both columns. So that means that this is my heading, this is my heading, this is my heading, this is my subheading, this is my subheading, this is my subheading. So except for the headings, and I don't think we need this, I'm going to erase it. Except for the headings, we need to indent everything. So there's many ways you can do this. So I will show you one trick. So I'm going to get this paragraph to be the way I want it to be. I'm going to go to my character formattings, and I'm going to make this Times New Roman 9 points. So Times New Roman regular, enter that, 9 points. And here I see that it's Arial Black 8.5. Arial Black 8.5. And I also see that, so I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. Oh, I didn't get this yet. And all leading is 13.5. So I actually might as well highlight all this and make all the leading 13.5. Oops. Guess I did need that return, putting it back. We'll see what happens next. So my leading is correct, but my indent is not there yet. So I'm gonna, now, because it's paragraph formatting, I can just click my cursor here. I don't need to highlight the whole thing because I just need to be in the paragraph. And I put in 0.75 indent. I'm just gonna fix this here to a C because it's missing that character. Okay, so now this looks pretty good. I haven't addressed some things about the header yet, but I got this paragraph to look close to this. All right. The next thing that I'm noticing is that these arrows, what do they mean? All space after. Paragraphs where there is a space, so you gotta like look, where is there a space? So no space here, so it doesn't apply. Space here, space here, space here, space here, that's all applies. Is 0.125 inches. Well, how do we do that? Okay, this is where having your invisibles on, your hidden characters, sorry, I keep calling them invisibles because they're an old layout program, Quark Express used to have invisibles as their terminology, so it's hidden characters in InDesign. This creates a space, but it creates the space depending on the size of the character applied to this paragraph mark. So, for example, if I wanted to make it 36 points, it would be bigger and it would throw up all the spacing here. I'm going to undo that. So space after just creates a very consistent space without relying on hitting the returns to, paragraph mark to create a space. It's a better workflow to be able to control your spacing. So I'm going to take out all these paragraph mark spacings. And I'm going to eventually put all the space afters there instead. But right now I'm going to just do it on this one paragraph. Have my cursor in there. See, I can click anywhere. It doesn't matter as long as my cursor is in there. And I go to my paragraph formatting because now we're affecting the whole paragraph. And here's my space after. and I put 0.125, and boom, there's my space. So my space is here without having to hit return. If you ever see a space like this and you don't see any hidden characters, you know that you should be looking for a space after, a space before in the formatting palette. Well, that's nice. We got this one paragraph. It's pretty good. But what about the rest of it? Well, there's a nice little feature in InDesign where you have the eyedropper tool. You have to go to the actual eyedropper tool, not the color theme tool, not the measure tool, just the eyedropper tool. So you have to make sure you're in the right tool. And you can grab a little bit of that paragraph, click on a white space to clear. Just click on that paragraph, and it kind of like looks like it filled up a little bit, right? And it has a little T on it. I don't know if you can see in the video, but when you click on the next paragraph, it'll just apply that formatting. Now it's funny that it changed the indents but didn't change the font, because the font is a character format, and for that we have to highlight. So you actually have to highlight these. Oops, I grabbed this, but I didn't mean to. Well, you know, messed up a little bit there. And I lost my tool. Now I didn't drag my cursor across all this font, and maybe I should, but I wanted to show you another way to do the font. So here now I have my indent. Now I can select all this and I can go into my font palette and I can say Times New Roman, and I can give it a space of 9. Now that works great, except that I also changed these guys because I highlighted everything. Now I have to change them back. So it doesn't really matter what order you do it in, as long as you apply the right formatting to the right paragraph. It doesn't matter if you click, if you highlight and then put the formatting in here, if you use the eyedropper tool right here and you pick up formatting, or if you, however you want to do it, just get the right formatting to the right areas. So to continue that, I have to change these headlines. First of all, they in fact are indented, so I have to get the indent to them. I'll do it in different ways. So for this one, I'm just going to click in it, go to paragraph formatting, and find my indent. Where is it? 0.75. And I'm going to go into space after, and I'm going to put 0.125. So I have a space after, and I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to make sure I'm in Times New Roman. New Roman bold this time. Oh, look, I forgot to highlight this little T. I'm gonna do that with the eyedropper tool. And hey, you know, since I have that eyedropper tool going on, I might as well use the eyedropper tool for the other subheadings. Something looks wrong. Oh, look, these are still 12 points, not 9. I forgot to change them. Well, I can just go back and do that. And since I'm going to be a little lazy here, I'm going to take the eyedropper tool and I'm going to just apply the rest of the formatting to the other paragraph, to the other subheaders with the eyedropper tool. Okay, so the last thing I have, so everything looks pretty good, but the last thing I have is this interesting setup here. Now, it says there's a tab here, and there's a line above. So here's a good time to sort of pay attention. because the line above is the paragraph rule and it's not actually specified in your markup. I'm really sorry about that, but let's first get the tab in. All right, when you need a tab, you just hit tab and you get these little double lines. They look like that. Let's see if we can get them a little bit bigger. All right, yeah, I also see that I have an extra space here. I don't want it, so I'm going to erase it. So I have a tab, it's in, but it's not in the right spot. So for that, I have to go into the tab palette, tabs, Command-Shift-T or tabs. When I bring this up, you can see that I have a tab highlighted, the left justified tab. This tab is in here, and I just type 0.75. And it moves exactly to 0.75. This is a really great way to set up tabs. I could type in 2 inches if I wanted to, and it should move. Sometimes they get quirky. Ah, that moves it. I can undo it. But the point is that I have control by the numbers of the tabs and how far, that is not it, and how far I can move things and align them. Now, if I did it by hand, I could do it by hand, but I know that my indent is 0.75 and I know my tab is 0.75, so if I type it in, then it just takes care of it. Okay, well, that's not all, right? I need this rule. So a rule is also a paragraph function. So in this control panel, there are something called paragraph rules. So paragraph rules, you bring them up. You can also look them up in help files. You have to be just in, your cursor has to be in the paragraph. You don't have to highlight specific text for that. And in the dialog box for paragraph rules, you just click rule above, on. If you need a rule below, you can do that too in the same box, but right now we're working with rule above. 1 point is fine, text color is fine. You want to span the width of the column, you can click the preview so you know what it looks like. You should click the preview. Now, look at that. It's really low, right? So here's a thing that is not in your markup and you should be aware of. Offset right here should be 0.125. And you can unclick and reclick the preview. Now you see that the line is in the right place. Just as an aside, the width could be the column, the width could be the text. So you have some control over that line. We need it to be the width of the column, which is really the default, so that's easy enough. And you say OK, and now you have your rule. Now I'm thinking that maybe you don't need this anymore. I feel like I did something wrong because this line is jumping for me. I shouldn't need it. And it shouldn't be in that box. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to, no, it's not working. I'm going to leave it for now because I'm going to figure this out. Just like we sit in class and we figure out, you know, when something is glitching. Something is glitching here, and I don't know what it is yet. I might have to do that off video and come back and fix it. Okay, so I know I can use my eyedropper tool if I'm feeling lazy, which I am. So I'm going to highlight this text. I'm going to grab this paragraph with the eyedropper tool, and I'm going to just drag across the other two headlines to just put in my formatting. Something really, well, I'll hold off on that. I was going to tell you something really cool about tabs, but I think it's time to stop this portion of the video and see if you can get to this point, and then we'll continue.